Hi, I'm Teja Gerken with Peghead Nation, and I'm here with a very special Santa Cruz Guitar Company OM guitar. Santa Cruz was really one of the first makers to reintroduce sort of the modern OM when they came out with the model in the early 80s, at a time when really few people were building OMs, and Santa Cruz really kind of was part of that wave that brought the OM back to making it more popular with players again. The OM's been a model that's been very successful for Santa Cruz, even now that a lot of other makers are building them. But as a custom shop, of course, Santa Cruz builds lots of variations on this model. And the one that I'm holding here is a particularly special one because it's really made from the highest grade materials that Santa Cruz has at their disposal. So let's take a look at the materials that this particular guitar is made out of. The most spectacular option that is part of this guitar is, of course, the Brazilian rosewood that is used on this guitar. And what we have here is old-growth Brazilian rosewood. I think Richard must have dug deep into his stash for this particular wood because it's the kind of straight grain Brazilian that you used to see on vintage guitars, and it's very, very rare to see it on contemporary guitars these days. It really is first rate. The coloring on it is beautiful. Beautiful grain patterns and just really first rate all the way around. It's what they call the premium Brazilian. The top of the guitar is made from Adirondack spruce, and again, here we have a beautiful, even grain, kind of a bit narrower grain than you would see on a lot of Adirondack these days. Some beautiful cross grain right here behind the bridge. Excellent coloring. Just really a premium piece of Adirondack spruce. So combined with the old growth Brazilian, this is not only the kind of wood that you would have found on a vintage OM, a rosewood OM, but it really is the best that you can get in a contemporary wood market. Now, a standard Santa Cruz OM would, of course, come with either Indian rosewood or mahogany. There's some different options, but Santa Cruz now offers quite a few custom options on their standard model, some of them without a charge. For example, this guitar has Adirondack braces that are glued on with hide glue, hot hide glue, and that is now an option that Santa Cruz offers as part of their standard custom options, and you can take advantage of that regardless of the back and sides and top wood options that you might choose. In the case of this guitar, the fingerboard and bridge are made from ebony, and you'll see that the fingerboard binding, even though it might look like an unbound fingerboard at first, it actually has ebony binding, so it hides the fret ends, but it matches the face of the fingerboard perfectly, of course. Speaking of the frets, they are finished in the typical way that Santa Cruz likes to do their fretwork, with a beautiful triangular shape on the ends. I've always really liked that fretwork that Santa Cruz does, and it's something that I don't see other makers do. It's a kind of a unique Santa Cruz trait of how they do their fretwork, and it's really beautiful and, of course, functional as well. If you look on the guitar's peg head, there's no inlay in the front of the peg head. The overlay is Brazilian rosewood on this as well. The Santa Cruz logo is right up here at the 12th fret of the guitar. The guitar is equipped with nickel Waverly tuners and has snakewood buttons. Very beautiful. It matches the rest of the woods very beautifully. You can see the traditional dart-like volute behind the nut on the headstock. And in terms of appointments, the guitar has a Brazilian rosewood rosette, so a perfect match for the back and sides of the guitar. And the purfling, which is kind of a variation on herringbone, is what Santa Cruz calls the S29 top purfling. And it's quite beautiful, and again, in terms of its coloration, matches the back and sides beautifully on this guitar. A few other details on the guitar include, of course, the small teardrop OM style pickguard, and like most Santa Cruz guitars, the saddle, it's bone saddle, it is inserted at a slight backward leaning angle, and the company feels that it improves intonation of the guitars, especially if you adjust action. It sort of auto adjusts the intonation as you go along. And if you're using an under saddle pickup, which this guitar does not include at this point, many people feel that it improves the pressure on the pickup and therefore gives a better performance of that as well. So you heard me play the guitar, played fingerstyle in dadgat tuning in the intro to this. beautiful resonant sound, very dynamic, whether I'm playing it really soft or a little bit harder, digging in. Very balanced, beautiful, kind of a low or mid-range response I find on this guitar. But OMs, of course, are very versatile guitars. Let's also listen to Peghead Nation's Scott Nygaard playing the guitar with a flat pick. So that's the Santa Cruz Custom Shop OM. It's a beautiful sounding guitar, uses amazing material. You're not going to find any higher quality materials really anywhere on a contemporary guitar. The craftsmanship is, of course, up to the very, very high Santa Cruz standard. And it's just an amazing showcase of what Santa Cruz is capable of in terms of customizing one of their existing models. So maybe you get a chance to play this particular guitar or many other Santa Cruz OMs or their other models at one of their dealers. They are spread out throughout the country, and they're definitely worth seeking out. It's a beautiful guitar. So please come back here to Peghead Nation for more of our gear demos. My name is Teja Gerken.